They told us lies. Lies that the night sky is nothing more than a chaotic scattering of stars. Lies that constellations are just a coincidence. The truth is hidden in the very heart of the Bible, and it is so shocking that church authorities kept it silent for centuries. What we see above us is not just stars. It is a divine map, encrypted with prophecies about the end of days. The book of Job declares, He made the bear, Orion, and the Pleiades, and the chambers of the southern sky. Why these constellations? Why does God draw attention to these specific heavenly patterns? And now the greatest question. What if I told you that each of these constellations foretells precise geopolitical events of our own time? If this message resonates with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. What I am about to reveal may forever change the way you understand biblical prophecy. Let us begin with the constellation of Sagittarius. In ancient writings, it was drawn as a centaur with a bow, aiming straight at the heart of the scorpion. But early Christian thinkers saw deeper symbolism. Sagittarius is not just a hunter. It is the image of divine judgment, an arrow flying through the darkness toward its destined target, an arrow that never misses. In ancient Aramaic texts, carefully hidden from ordinary believers, Sagittarius was called Keshet El, the hand of God with a bow. This is the very bow of which the psalmist speaks. The Lord tests the righteous, but his soul hates the wicked and those who love violence. The Chaldean astronomers of old knew what modern science is only beginning to uncover. Sagittarius is not merely a picture traced in stars. It is a physical reality inscribed into the very structure of the cosmos. The center of our galaxy lies in the constellation of Sagittarius, a supermassive black hole that controls the movement of billions of stars. And here is the most important point. This black hole periodically unleashes immense gamma bursts that ripple across the galaxy. In truth, it shoots energy arrows into the vastness of space. Now look at today's world map. Even now, as we speak, rockets fly across the Middle East. The war between Israel and its enemies rages under the sign of Sagittarius. Coincidence? No. This is the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy, written in the heavens before the world began. Iranian ballistic missiles, Israel's Iron Dome, America's missile defense systems, all of them are modern reflections of the ancient battle between the arrow of truth and the powers of darkness. Here is an even more shocking fact. The most secret military bases on Earth are located at geographic points aligned with the brightest stars of Sagittarius. Area 51 in the United States, the Pleiades Cosmodrome in Russia, hidden Chinese facilities in the Gobi Desert. All of them lie directly beneath the projection of the heavenly archer. This is no coincidence. It is a deliberate choice by those who know the ancient mysteries. Let us dig deeper. In the book of Revelation, John sees a rider on a white horse. And I looked, and behold, a white horse. He who sat on it had a bow, and a crown was given to him, and he went out conquering and to conquer. This is not merely allegory. It is a prophecy of the final wars of the last days. The rider with the bow is not the Antichrist, as some theologians mistakenly claim. It is Christ himself, revealed as a divine warrior coming, not with peace, but with the sword. The sages of old knew, when the stars of Sagittarius shine their brightest, the time of great change will come. And here we are, living in that very moment. NATO expands eastward. China builds artificial islands. Russia wages war against Ukraine. Each of these conflicts unfolds exactly according to the map traced in the heavens. The American base at Ramstein, coordinating weapons shipments into Ukraine, stands precisely at the angle that mirrors the tilt of Sagittarius's bow. This is no coincidence. It is the unfolding of the heavenly plan. But the most terrifying moment is yet to come. For Sagittarius aims not only at earthly kingdoms. His target lies deeper. In the book of the prophet Habakkuk we read, "You uncovered your bow according to the oaths sworn to the tribes. With reavers you split the earth." This is a prophecy of the final judgment, when the divine arrow pierces not only the earth, but the very heart of human civilization. Sagittarius prepares his last shot, and that shot will change the world forever. Why is the constellation of Scorpius positioned at the very center of our galaxy? And why is the arrow of Sagittarius aimed directly at it? The answer is so shocking that most theologians fear to speak it aloud. But the time of silence is over. The truth must be revealed, even if it burns everything in its path. In biblical tradition, the scorpion symbolizes the powers of darkness. It is not just an insect that stings. It is the very archetype of spiritual evil, hidden at the heart of creation itself. In the book of Revelation we read, "And out of the smoke came locusts upon the earth, and they were given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power." But that is only the surface meaning. A deeper truth is revealed in the apocryphal texts that the Church concealed for centuries. In the book of Enoch, removed from the Catholic canon, we find a terrifying revelation about the scorpion. It is not merely a constellation. It is a portal, a gate through which dark forces enter our world. Enoch saw how from the heart of the galaxy came demonic beings, carrying knowledge that corrupted the souls of men. Ancient astronomers knew. Scorpius is a doorway into infernal realms, one that opens in critical moments of history. And now the most important point. Modern astronomy confirms what the prophets of old knew thousands of years ago. At the center of the constellation lies the supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius. This is literally the gateway into the abyss of the heavens, the very abyss warned of by the Apostle John. He opened the bottomless pit, and smoke rose out of it, like the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened because of the smoke of the pit. Here is the most alarming fact. This black hole does not merely swallow matter. It throws something back into our universe. X-ray flares, gamma rays, streams of dark matter, all of it flows from the heart of Scorpius straight toward our own solar system. Some claim that NASA conceals the full extent of this radiation because the truth would be too dreadful for the public to bear. And is it not strange that right now humanity directs its greatest telescopes toward that very region of the sky? The Hubble Space Telescope, the James Webb Telescope, all of them stare into the very heart of galactic darkness. We are literally gazing into the eyes of what the Bible warned us about. The European Southern Observatory spends billions of dollars probing the galactic core. They say it is for science, but in truth they are searching for something far more unsettling. In the year 2020, astronomers recorded that the black hole at the center of Scorpius began to behave abnormally. It released tens of times more energy than ever before. Officially, They explained it as the swallowing of a massive star. But the ancient texts offer another explanation. The scorpion is preparing for its final sting, yet the story grows darker still. In Greek mythology, it was the scorpion that killed the hunter Orion, but biblical tradition reveals a deeper meaning. The scorpion is the image of the one who twists the divine order of creation. He strikes at the heel like the serpent in the garden. In ancient Chaldean writings, the scorpion was called Ishara, Lord of the underworld, the one who commands the souls of the dead and unleashes them upon the earth in the last days. Look at our modern world. Artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, the attempt to manufacture life in laboratories. All of it takes place under the sign of the scorpion. Humanity striving to become God and reaping only spiritual poison. Google, Microsoft, OpenAI all racing to advance artificial intelligence at the very moment when Scorpius climbs highest in the heavens. They do not realize they are opening a gate into the digital abyss. Here is another disturbing fact. The Chinese space program carries the codename Scorpion. They plan to land on the far side of the moon, precisely when the constellation reaches its peak. Coincidence? Hardly. The Tiangong space station is positioned so that its orbit regularly passes beneath the stars of Scorpius. This is no accident. It is strategy. In ancient texts it is written, when the scorpion lifts its tail to the very zenith, the spirits of the abyss will descend upon the earth. We are living in that time. Modern quantum physics speaks of parallel dimensions, dark matter, and quantum tunnels, but it does not understand that it is describing the very same spiritual realities foretold in the Bible. The scorpion is preparing to release its venom into our world, and the venom has already begun to spread. The Seven Sisters. That is what our ancestors called the Pleiades. But why seven? And why does God mention them separately in the book of Job? The truth is so astonishing, it will force you to rethink everything you thought you knew about the cosmos and about the divine plan for humanity's salvation. The Pleiades are not just a beautiful cluster of stars. They are the key to understanding the very nature of God's creation. The Pleiades are not simply a group of stars. They are a celestial temple constructed according to a divine pattern. The builders of the pyramids aligned their monuments with the Pleiades. The Maya, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, they all knew these stars are gateways between worlds. In the book of Enoch, hidden for centuries from ordinary believers, it is written, and they showed me all the secrets at the ends of the heavens, and the storehouses of the stars, and all the lights from which they proceed before the face of the holy ones. Ancient Chaldean astronomers had a special name for the Pleiades, Chima, meaning the cluster, but it was never just a cluster. Modern astronomy confirms the Pleiades are the closest stellar group to us, a nursery where new worlds are born. It is the cosmic cradle where the Creator forms new solar systems. If Scorpius is the gate of death, then the Pleiades are the gates of life. And now the shocking truth. Modern science echoes what the apocryphal text declared. The Pleiades move through space at incredible speed, creating a kind of corridor through space and time. In fact, they are a cosmic labyrinth through which energy streams flow, shaping the destiny of entire civilizations. Some researchers claim that NASA withholds the full data on the Pleiades, as their satellites record strange gravitational disturbances in that region of the sky. In the year 2019, The Kepler Space Telescope detected a strange phenomenon around the Pleiades. The 7 main stars of the cluster began to change their brightness in perfect synchrony, following a complex mathematical pattern. Officially, scientists explained it as natural stellar pulsations, but ancient texts suggest another explanation. Heavenly beings were sending signals to Earth, and the mystery runs even deeper. In the book of Enoch, we find a description of how archangels descended to Earth from the direction of the Pleiades. They brought forbidden knowledge of metallurgy, of astronomy, of medicine, knowledge that changed the course of human history forever. Some modern genetic researchers claim they have found fragments in the human genome that seem to have no earthly origin. Where did they come from? The answer, perhaps, is hidden in those ancient accounts of the Nephilim, the sons of God, who came to the daughters of men. Enoch describes his own journey to the Pleiades, and they carried me up to the heavens, and I saw in the midst of that place a blazing fire, and among them pillars of flame that could not be counted upward or downward. This is not a dreamlike vision of paradise. It reads more like a report of an encounter with a highly advanced civilization. And have you wondered why the world's most powerful space agencies schedule their missions for the very times when the Pleiades hold key positions in the sky? NASA, Roscosmos, the European Space Agency, all of them use ancient astronomical wisdom while keeping it hidden from the public. The Apollo 11 mission launched when the Pleiades stood at their zenith. European telescopes planned their most critical observations during the passage of the Pleiades across specific points in the heavens. The 7 stars of the Pleiades correspond to the 7 churches of the Book of Revelation. Each star marks a separate era in human history. Today, we are living in the time of the 7th star, the age that points to the end of days. The Church of Philadelphia, the Church of the Open Door, and the Last Opportunity. In Chaldean writings, the 7th star of the Pleiades was called the Gate of the Sun, the gate through which the Messiah would come in the last days. Here is the most troubling fact. Radio telescopes continue to record signals arriving from the direction of the Pleiades. Officially, they are dismissed as cosmic noise. But those who know how to read the ancient codes understand. These are messages from those who once visited our world. In the year 2019, the Arecibo telescope detected a powerful signal from the Pleiades that lasted exactly 7 minutes. The event was classified, but the story leaked through alternative channels. The Pleiades are not just stars. They are the apocalyptic clock counting down the final minutes before a great transformation. The ancients taught, when all 7 stars of the Pleiades shine together in the morning sky, the time will come for the return of those who once gave birth to human civilization. That moment is approaching faster than we imagine. The only question is, are you ready to meet those who will come from the Pleiades? Ursa Major, the Great Bear, is the most famous constellation of the northern sky. But why does God mention it first in the book of Job? The answer hides a prophecy of the final world war, and it is so precise it will make your hair stand on end. What I am about to reveal will overturn your understanding of modern geopolitics and reveal the true face of the coming apocalypse. In ancient texts, the Great Bear was called Elijah's chariot, the same prophet Elijah who was taken up into heaven by a fiery chariot. The ancients understood Ursa Major is a weapon of the heavens. prepared for the last battle between good and evil. In the book of Kings it is written, "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, behold, a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven." But there is an even deeper meaning. In the old Chaldean writings, Ursa Major was called the Great Wagon. It was the war chariot of the god of battle, moving across the heavens, ready for the final conflict. The ancient astronomers knew what modern science is only beginning to grasp. The stars of the Great Bear move through space as a single group, like a cosmic fleet advancing toward a destined goal. Now look at today's world map. Russia, the largest nation on Earth, lies directly under the constellation of the Great Bear. Russia, whose very symbol is the bear. Coincidence? No, it is the fulfillment of an ancient prophecy. The Kremlin itself, heart of Russian power, stands on the very latitude of the brightest star of Ursa Major Dub. This is no accident. It is a pattern inscribed into the very design of our world. The prophet Ezekiel describes the war of Gog and Magog. "You will come from your place, out of the far north, you and many nations with you, all of them riding on horses, a great host, a mighty army. And you will come against my people Israel, like a cloud covering the land." And what lies in the north? The Great Bear. The prophecy speaks of the northern beast rising for the final battle. Modern Russia wages war in the very regions Ezekiel named as the battleground of Armageddon: Georgia, Ukraine, and potentially Moldova. Each of these lands lies on the path from north to south, the very path traced by Ursa Major across the heavens. If these facts move you, like this video and subscribe for more. The 7 stars of the Great Bear correspond to the 7 seals of the book of Revelation. Each star marks a separate stage of the end times. 6 seals have already been opened: wars, famine, plagues, natural disasters. We see them with our own eyes. The first seal, the white horse of conquest. The second, the red horse of war. The third, the black horse of famine. The fourth, the pale horse of death. The fifth, the souls of the martyrs. The sixth, a great earthquake and the darkening of the sun. Only the 7th seal remains, silence in heaven for half an hour before the final judgment. Here is the shocking part. Some astronomers report that the stars of Ursa Major change their brightness in perfect synchrony. This is no natural process. It is something artificial, something under the control of a greater intelligence. According to alternative sources, NASA has kept these findings from the public. And another disturbing detail: Russian missiles bear names tied to the bear. Topol, Yars, Sarmat. Each carries echoes of the northern beast. Even their submarines are named after Arctic creatures: Akula, Shuka, Kit. The Russian military doctrine reads like the very prophecy of Ezekiel: the northern ruler rising with sword and fire. And now, the most terrifying truth. Ancient texts declare, when the Great Bear sinks to the horizon, the end of the world will come. Because of the shifting of Earth's magnetic poles, the constellations truly do move. Slowly but steadily, the Great Bear drifts downward. The process may take thousands of years, yet astronomers already record anomalies in Earth's magnetic field. Modern science confirms the poles are shifting with astonishing speed. The northern magnetic pole moves toward Siberia at 55 kilometers per year. This affects navigation, climate, even the instincts of animals. But most of all, it alters the positions of the stars. Ursa Major edges ever closer to Russian lands, not only symbolically but physically. The bear is not just a constellation. It is a divine countdown, measuring the last days before the final judgment. And the clock shows that little time remains. Elijah's chariot is readying for its last ride, and the northern bear sharpens its claws for the final battle. Orion is the brightest constellation of the winter sky. But why does God single it out above the rest? Because Orion is not merely a hunter. He is the celestial warrior preparing for the final battle between light and darkness. And this battle is not an abstract allegory. It unfolds before our very eyes in the wars and conflicts consuming the planet in the Book of Enoch, hidden for centuries from ordinary believers. Orion is described as the Archangel Michael, the very Michael who in the Book of Revelation wages war against the dragon, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. But they did not prevail, and their place was found no more in heaven. The 3 stars of Orion's belt are his weapons, his sword, his shield, and his spear. Ancient Chaldean astronomers called Orion Gibor, the hero who stands guard over divine order. Orion is not just a myth. He is a real cosmic structure that shapes the destiny of civilizations. Modern astronomy has confirmed what the ancients already knew. Orion is one of the most active regions of star formation in our galaxy. The Orion Nebula is a vast cosmic forge where new worlds are born. In truth, it is an army of light, gathering new warriors, new stars. Here is the most troubling fact. Astronomers have discovered that stars are forming in Orion with incredible speed. The Orion Nebula is the most active stellar nursery in our galaxy. It means the celestial warrior is preparing for war. He is raising his army of light. The Hubble telescope records the birth of hundreds of new stars each year in this very region of the heavens. In the year 2020, astronomers made a shocking discovery. The star Betelgeuse, on Orion's shoulder, began to change its brightness dramatically. Officially, scientists explained it as the natural pulsations of a red giant. But the ancient texts suggest another meaning. The warrior. Orion is readying his weapon for the final battle. Now look at the world below. At this very moment, as Orion shines brightest, wars erupt across every continent. Ukraine, the Middle East, Africa, South America. The planet burns literally. But this is not chaos. It is an ordered conflict, unfolding according to a heavenly script. The forces of light against the powers of darkness and the most shocking alignment. Nearly every great military campaign of recent years began when Orion stood at its zenith. Russia's invasion of Ukraine began on the 24th of February, 2022 precisely, when Orion reached its highest point in the winter sky. Coincidence? No. It is the enactment of an ancient cosmic plan. The ancient writings declare, when Orion's sword glows red, the horsemen of the apocalypse will descend upon the earth, and the red giants in Orion's belt do indeed shift in brightness, growing ever redder. Betelgeuse itself is preparing to explode as a supernova. When it happens, it will shine even in daylight, turning the sky to flame. Astronomers say it could happen at any time tomorrow or within the next 100,000 years. But the prophecies point to a far shorter timeline. And here is another extraordinary link. America's Orion space program aims to send humans to Mars during the very years when the constellation reaches its peak. They are literally seeking refuge beneath the protection of the heavenly warrior. Some claim the Orion spacecraft was designed with celestial cycles in mind, though NASA officially denies it. But Orion is not preparing for escape. He is preparing for battle. The prophet Isaiah declared, "Behold, the Lord comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The blood of the wicked shall be revealed, and the earth shall no longer cover her slain." Orion is God's warrior, ready to execute that judgment. His sword is not raised against enemies in space. It is drawn for the battle over the souls of mankind. Have you noticed that the world's most powerful armies conduct their drills during the winter solstice, when Orion reaches its height? This is no accident. It is ancient knowledge, still used by modern generals. Russia's strategic missile forces, America's Pentagon, China's People's Liberation Army, all align their operations with the position of Orion in the heavens. And remember this, Orion's sword points directly at the heart of Scorpio. It is the sign that light will overcome darkness. But before the victory comes a terrible war won that will change the world forever. Orion is sharpening his sword. The final battle is approaching, and it will decide the fate of human civilization. This is the constellation you will not hear about in churches. Draco the dragon is the longest constellation of the northern sky, coiling around the pole star with its rings. But why do church leaders remain silent about its meaning? Because the truth is too terrifying for ordinary believers. It is the truth of who really rules this world, and how it is tied to the approaching end of days. In the book of Revelation, John saw a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and there appeared another sign in heaven. Behold, a great fiery dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail swept down 1/3 of the stars of heaven, and cast them to the earth. This is not allegory. It is an exact description of the constellation Draco, which ancient astronomers pictured as a many-headed serpent wrapping itself around the axis of the world. Here is the most alarming fact. The pole star, around which all the heavens seem to turn, lies in the dragon's jaws. It means that dark powers control the very axis of creation. They hold in their claws the center of the cosmos itself. The priests of Babylon knew this secret and used it in their occult rites. Today's global elites continue that tradition, hiding it behind the mask of science and politics. But there is an even darker truth. Because of the precession of Earth's axis, the pole star changes every 26,000 years. Today we live in the age where the pole of the world is a star gripped by the dragon's mouth. But in ancient times the pole star was another Thuban located in the heart of the dragon. The pyramids of Egypt were aligned to this very star, proof that the builders worked under the shadow of the dragon. Now look at our world today. China, the land of the dragon, wages a hybrid war for global power. Chinese companies gain control of critical infrastructure worldwide: ports, highways, energy, communications. The Belt and Road Initiative is nothing less than the dragon's ancient plan to wrap its coils around the entire planet. Did you know that China's economic expansion follows the very path of the constellation Draco? Corridors of Chinese investment in Africa, Asia, and Europe trace the same form as the celestial serpent. Coincidence? No. It is a deliberate design by those who know the ancient mysteries. The old prophecies say, when the dragon lowers its head to the earth, the time of great tribulation will begin. And through the slow precession of Earth's axis, the constellation Draco is indeed sinking toward the horizon. The process will take thousands of years, yet its effects are already seen. China grows more aggressive, extending its power across all continents. And here is the chilling alignment. China's space program aims to establish a base on the far side of the moon at the very moment when Draco reaches its lowest point. They literally plan to hide in the shadows, away from the light of heaven. Their lunar program, Change, is named for the moon goddess of Chinese myth, closely linked to the dragon dot in the year 2019. China made the first soft landing on the far side of the moon. Officially, it was a scientific mission. But ancient texts warn, when the dragon hides behind the moon, it prepares for its final assault upon the light. And yet there is hope. In the same book of Revelation it is written, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast down to the earth, and his angels were cast down with him. This is the prophecy of the fall of the dark powers that now seem to rule the world. The dragon appears mighty, but his reign is temporary. Modern researchers point to something striking. Earth's magnetic field, the shield that protects us from cosmic radiation, is shaped like a dragon. The magnetosphere literally coils around our planet like a serpent. But now this field is weakening, perhaps a sign that the dragon's reign is nearing its end. Some claim NASA conceals the true data about the state of the magnetosphere, for the truth would be too disturbing for the public. The dragon is not eternal. His rule is only for a season, but before his fall, he will attempt to destroy everything tied to the divine plan. That is why our days are so heavy and full of turmoil. The dragon knows his time is short, and he unleashes all his fury in one last assault against the light. There is one constellation rarely mentioned in popular works. Libra the Scales is the only constellation named after an inanimate object. But why did the ancients choose to place a pair of scales in the heavens? The answer is shocking, for it reveals the very mechanism by which God judges not only individuals, but entire nations and civilizations. The scales are the instrument of divine judgment. In the book of Daniel, we read of the hand that wrote upon the wall, "Tekel, you have been weighed in the balances and found wanting." The heavenly Libra weighs not only the deeds of single men and women, but of whole peoples. When the bowl of evil outweighs the bowl of good, God delivers his verdict. In ancient Babylonian texts, Libra was called Zebanuchu, the righteous scales. The Chaldean astronomers knew this is no mere constellation, but a cosmic mechanism regulating the moral balance of the universe. When too much evil gathers upon the earth, the celestial scales automatically set in motion the process of cleansing. Here is the most troubling truth. The constellation Libra lies in the sky where the sun rests during the autumnal equinox. That moment when day equals night, when light and darkness stand balanced. It is the hour of cosmic justice and divine judgment. The astrologers of old knew it is then that the universe weighs the deeds of mankind. Now consider what happens in our world during the autumn equinox. economic crashes, political upheavals, natural disasters. Again and again, their peaks align with this season. The scales weigh humanity's actions and deliver their verdict. The great crash of 1929 began on October 24th, Black Thursday, when the sun stood in Libra dot. And if these revelations startle you, remember to like this video and subscribe for more dot. In the ancient Egyptian texts, we find the ceremony of the weighing of the heart. On one side of the scales lay the heart of the dead. On the other, the feather of the goddess, Mat. If the heart proved heavier than truth, the soul was cast into darkness. This Egyptian rite carried a profound biblical meaning. The heavenly scales work the same way, but on a cosmic scale. And here is the chilling alignment. The greatest financial crises of history occurred precisely when the sun passed through Libra, the Great Depression of 1929, the financial collapse of 2008, the pandemic crash of 2020. This is not chance. It is the work of the cosmic scales regulating the economy of the planet. Some claim that the world's financial elites know this secret and use it to their advantage. The largest deals on the global exchanges are struck while the sun passes through Libra. They understand this is the moment when cosmic justice can overturn the wealth of nations. And why is the symbol of justice the same in every culture? A blindfolded woman holding a pair of scales. This is no accident. It is memory and echo of the heavenly archetype written in the stars. Themis, the Roman goddess of justice, holds the same scales that shine above our heads. Modern economists speak of market equilibrium, of supply and demand, of balance sheets. They do not realize they are describing the very work of the cosmic Libra, the scales that regulate the fate of civilizations. When a system grows too unjust, the scales trigger correction. But the scales do not only weigh, they warn. When the bowls begin to sway wildly, it is the sign that great change is near. And today the scales of heaven are trembling more violently than ever before. It means the great judgment of human civilization is close at hand. The bowl of evil overflows, and cosmic justice is ready to act. Cygnus the Swan is one of the most beautiful constellations of the summer sky. Yet the ancients did not call it the swan. They called it the cross, the great cross stretched across the Milky Way. Why does the church keep this truth from its people? Because the reality of the heavenly cross reveals the deepest secret of the Christian faith and the prophecy of what will soon come upon humanity. The cross in the sky is the prophecy of the second coming of Christ. In the Gospel of Matthew it is written, "And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory." The early Christians knew this sign was already written among the stars in the constellation of Cygnus, in early Christian writings outside the canon. The swan was described as a heavenly ship on which Christ would return at the end of time. This is not metaphor, it is a literal description of a cosmic event destined for the last days. The ancients understood what modern science is only now beginning to grasp. Constellations are not static pictures, but dynamic structures that change across the ages. Here is the most shocking fact. At the very center of Cygnus lies a powerful source of X-ray radiation. Astronomers call it Cygnus X1. It is a black hole devouring the light of the stars around it. But ancient texts give another explanation. It is a portal through which divine light enters our world. In truth, it is a cosmic cross shining with invisible light. The X-rays emitted by this black hole take the form of a cross. Modern telescopes record the phenomenon, yet science cannot explain it. Ordinary black holes should not produce ordered beams shaped like a cross. And now the most important point. In these last days, the constellation of Cygnus reaches its highest point in the summer sky. The Heavenly Cross shines directly above us, a reminder of the approaching day of judgment. In the year 2020, astronomers reported that Cygnus X1 suddenly grew far more active. Official explanations remain uncertain. In the legends of old, the swan is the bird that sings before death, the swan song, the final hymn before the end. Is it any wonder that humanity today is so consumed with music, art, and creativity? On some level, we sense the finale drawing near, and we sing our last song. And here is the disturbing alignment. The world's most powerful radio telescopes record signals coming from the direction of Cygnus. Officially, these are dismissed as cosmic noise from the black hole. But those who can read the signs of heaven understand. They are harbingers of the second coming. The signals carry patterns that resemble melodies. In the year 2019, I recorded a signal from the direction of Cygnus that lasted exactly 3 days and 3 nights, the very length of time Christ lay in the tomb. This report was classified, yet leaked through alternative channels. The signal pulsed at 1,420 megahertz, the frequency of hydrogen, the simplest element of the universe. And in the book of Revelation, John saw a great white throne and the one who sat upon it. And I saw a great white throne and him who sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. The white swan against the darkness of the cosmos is that very throne from which the final judgment of mankind will proceed. Some claim that modern space agencies conceal the true meaning of their discoveries in the direction of Cygnus. The James Webb Telescope is often pointed toward this region, and many of the results are withheld at the highest levels. But truth cannot be hidden forever. The swan prepares for its final flight, and when it spreads its wings, a new era will begin in the history of the universe. An age when heaven and earth unite in the last judgment of human civilization. The Heavenly Cross already shines above us, counting down the final days before the great transformation of the world. Before we begin, remind yourself to like and subscribe, because what I am about to reveal may forever change your understanding of biblical prophecy. We now come to the most mysterious constellation in all the heavens, the one that holds the keys to humanity's future. Capricornus is the strangest figure of the zodiac, a goat with the tail of a fish. What kind of creature is this? Why did the ancients carve it into the sky? The answer hides the deepest truth about the nature of the Creator himself and what awaits mankind in the years to come. In the book of Ezekiel, we read of the cherubim with bodies of many creatures. Each had the face of a man, the face of a lion on the right side, the face of an ox on the left side, and the face of an eagle. The goat symbolizes sacrifice. The fish represents divine wisdom. Capricorn is the heavenly image of Christ, combining the sacrifice of salvation with the depths of eternal understanding. But there is more. Capricorn is a hybrid creature, bridging two realms, the earthly and the heavenly. The goat reflects humanity's animal nature, the fish tail its spiritual essence. It is the image of the transformation that mankind must undergo in the last days. Here is the most astonishing truth. The sun enters Capricorn during the winter solstice. On the 21st of December, the shortest day of the year, the light begins to return. The ancients understood. Capricorn is the gate through which light re-enters the world. It is the cosmic threshold where one age ends and another begins. Now look at the Christian calendar. On the 25th of December, we celebrate the birth of Christ. This is no accident. The early believers knew that the Savior's birth was symbolically tied to the passage of the sun through Capricorn, the light of the world born in the darkest night when the sun itself passes through the heavenly gate. In the mystery traditions, Capricorn was called the gates of the gods. Through these gates, souls descended to earth to take on flesh. Some believe this is why December has always been a month of great birth rates. The celestial doors stand open, and souls rush to incarnate before the coming change. And here is the disturbing discovery. Astronomers have detected that from the direction of Capricorn come the strangest signals of all. Fast radio bursts, gravitational waves, unknown particles, all traced back to the region of the heavenly gate. In the year 2020, the LIGO Observatory detected a gravitational wave that lasted exactly 12 days, the very span from Christmas to Epiphany. And what of the mysterious fish tail of Capricorn? In early Christian symbols, the fish represented Christ himself. The tail is movement, direction, purpose. Capricorn points the way forward, guiding humanity under the hand of Christ. Modern physics now confirms what the ancients already knew. Space in the direction of Capricorn is bent in ways that may allow passage between dimensions. In effect, it is a cosmic gateway between worlds. Quantum physicists speak of tunnels and parallel universes, not realizing they describe the very phenomena foretold in ancient texts. And in the book of Revelation we read, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more." This is the prophecy of reality itself, transformed through the heavenly gate of Capricorn. The old world will vanish, and a new one will take its place. Is it chance that the most important political decisions of history are so often made in December? The collapse of empires, the signing of treaties, the beginnings and endings of wars. Time and again, the gates of history swing open beneath the sign of Capricorn, altering the course of nations. And so I ask you, what do you make of these revelations? Do you feel the approach of great change? Capricorn is not merely a constellation. It is a portal between the old world and the new, through which mankind will pass into a new era. The age of Pisces, the age of Christianity, reaches its end. A new age begins, and its sign is written in the stars. The time for escape is over. The time of revelation has come. Share your thoughts in the comments, for what we have uncovered is only the beginning. What other secrets of heaven still await their unveiling? Are you ready to face the truth of the divine plan written in the sky itself? And forgive any small errors in pronunciation. This narration is voiced by artificial intelligence. If you notice mistakes, please let us know in the comments. Your attention helps us improve the quality of this work.